Hey, this is our last show of 2022. So we thought we would, oh, wait a minute, hold your applause. Hold your applause till the end. So it's our last show of 2022, and my special guests and I are going to take a moment to maybe even brag a little bit, tell you about some of our accomplishments for 2022. In some ways, we really had a good year, and we want you to know about it. And then we're going to give you a little bit of a preview for 2023. So if you want to know what's going on at SCAN, stay tuned. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to SCAN FYI. So yeah, it's our last show of the year. It's the holiday season, and look who my very special guest is. He doesn't even need an intro, but you know what, Mike? Introduce yourself anyway.
Good morning, Andrea. Thank you very much. It's Mike Ciavolino here, Executive Director at SCAN, your colleague, co-worker, and
podcasting co-host.
And podcasting co-host / sidekick. So excited to be honored to be your guest for the last show of the year here on SCAN FYI, a very important SCAN show. And also, as we talked offline, this is your 125th show. So I'm really proud to be your guest on that. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to applaud myself. Wow. You know, for those who didn't realize, we started SCAN FYI smack in the middle of the pandemic as a way to engage with our SCAN members, because, you know, we couldn't do anything in person. Mm-hmm. So we started SCAN FYI. And you know what? It's really become successful. And I mean, I'm thrilled to be part of it. And wow, 125
part of it,
shows.
It's you.
Well, thank you. Well, it's SCAN. It's all about SCAN. It's not about me. But I love having you as my guest for the last show of the year, which is crazy to say, the last show of the year.
It is. This year just flew by, and you know, again, as we talked offline, and you pointed out, you know, it's been such a whirlwind. You completely forget what we've been through. But this was really our first full year after the COVID pandemic. And I feel like, you know, sort of humble brag, as you mentioned,
right.
We did get a lot done from the time we came back through today. And I'm really proud of some of the things that we've done this year.
We've done a lot. And, you know, before we even mention what we've done, let's just say I am so happy that our SCAN members and the community in general have adapted so well to, first of all, thank you all for returning to SCAN, which, of course, from the bottom of our heart, we are most grateful. But you also adapted so well to Zoom and this whole online situation. You know, who knew what it would be like? And there's lots of folks that you did come back, but you opted to stay on Zoom. And you know what? That was just great too, because it really showed us how the senior communities, how they adapted, Mike, and they liked it.
They did, and they wanted to stay connected to the SCAN family and to each other. And so Zoom allowed them to do that. I recall when I was first starting, even the conversations that would happen before and after class by just the Zoom participants. So they would stay and catch up and ask each other how they're doing. It was really wonderful.
So, of course, one of the things we learned at SCAN was, well, Zoom will always be part of how we have our classes.
Yes.
And what we're attempting to do for 2023 is we want to even be able to capture our lunch and learns and some other events on camera, so that we're able to share that all even on our YouTube channel. So technology has become so important, not just to SCAN, but I guess to everyone out there, right? There's no getting around it.
That's true. And one of the other things I'm really proud of this year is the podcast that you and I do together. And you reminded me to talk about it when you mentioned YouTube, because we're really going to supersize that show this year, I think, in a number of ways. Right. So let's just take a look at that. We did about 26 episodes, I think, this year, which is a pretty good start for us.
Yes.
But now we have a partnership coming up in 2023 with a Shared Universe podcast studio. So SCAN will be the third location for a shared universe. It's going to bring a lot of activity and excitement to the office. And we'll be doing our shows now also on YouTube, not just the podcast format. So people will be able to watch us. We'll have to dress nicely for each episode from now on. I can't commit to my jeans anymore, I guess.
That's going to be, it used to be a
Maybe
show
we should
about
rethink
nothing.
this.
Now we're going to have to have a show about something.
It's going to be a
But
slick production now.
I think it's going to be great. Ming Chen from A Shared Universe has engineered for us for a while, and it's just been fun. He made it even more fun. So I think it's going to be great for us to be another location. Definitely elevates us. Yeah.
Yes, and that's just getting started, folks, in terms of the podcast situation, because what else do we have in store next year, podcast-wise? We've got a new class that we're going to be offering in the spring.
What else do we have? Duh. Yeah.
Not a quiz.
Right. I know. Ooh. So it's kind of like by popular demand, we've had so many people ask, well, even starting with FYI, how do you do it? How does all this happen? It's really not that magical. And then with the podcast, so Ming has agreed to facilitate a class on how to do a podcast. And because we have a podcast studio, well, right at SCAN, I think that's just going to be wonderful. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of it, because it's a great, whatever, some people say, well, what would I talk about? I don't know. You could talk about anything.
What's your passion? What's your passion? And so first of all, a little bit more about this class. It's going to be both the art and science of making a podcast.
Yes.
How to do it from a technology point of view, which it's a lot simpler than you think.
It is.
And then from a content perspective, as Andrea, as you were just alluding to, what is your passion? Or as Ming was saying, somebody does a show on stamps, or, some other really super niche hobby or passion or interest. And there are people out there just like you that love that same thing.
And when Ming was describing, well, what's a podcast? You know what? It's a recorded conversation. If you're out with your friend having coffee and you're chit-chatting about your day, if you put a microphone in there, you got a podcast.
That's right.
Yeah.
So very excited about that.
Just one-on-one with you and the camera, or you could have one or more guests. So I think it's going to be a great addition to SCAN's classes.
I agree, as will be the legacy podcast concept, which we're trying to frame up for spring of 2023 as well. So in this instance, folks would be able to come in and rent some time in the studio with their loved ones or best friends or contemporaries and have a recorded conversation that's now, archived forever. You never know what comes out of a session like that. So we're excited to be offering that to our members as well.
And we can put it on video as well. So you would really have some wonderful legacy to leave for your family. Yeah. Yes. We're becoming very sophisticated, aren't we?
I know. They're going to hire us at NASA soon, I think. Andrea.
Who knew? Yeah. We'll have to move to Florida.
But, beyond even the technology, I think there's a lot we could be proud of in 2022 from the programming side. And a lot you had to do with a lot of that, too. You took your show on the road pretty much all year long to places all over Monmouth and Monmouth County. So can you, I'm not supposed to be interviewing you.
That's okay. That's a welcome change. Why do I have to do all the work? So one thing we've been doing at SCAN in 2022, we'll be doing more of it in 2023, is kind of having a little mini road show. So I've been going on the road to as many events as I possibly could, talking about SCAN. And I think it's been great. We've met so many awesome people and in Monmouth and Ocean County, and we're going to continue that for 2023. We'll be out of the office. I'll be out of the office a lot. Well, that's a good thing, because that means I'm doing what I need to do to get the word out about SCAN.
Right.
So I look forward to that, actually. Yeah.
And
but also in the office, let's talk about in the office.
All right.
The floors.
Right, that's right. We also stole plants from Monmouth Mall, which edit that out. They're not supposed to know that. Actually, they gave them to us. It wasn't really theft, but we completely redid the space thanks to a lovely grant from our friends at Monmouth County. And the space was completely reimagined. We tore up those carpets that had been there forever and put down beautiful new wood flooring, repainted the space, and as I was saying before, the mall gave us a bunch of their big planters from upstairs that they no longer needed. So the office really looks great now.
It does. The mall is getting reimagined and SCAN got reimagined. And I mean, it's a much better place for the employees. And I feel like the members who come in every day are definitely enjoying the new, it looks like we're in a new place, right?
Yeah.
It really looks good. Hey, if you
Has that
haven't come
new-
down to visit us, please do.
Stop by. We will be closed next week, the last week of the year. But after that, we'll be open for business again as soon as January rolls around. So as Andrea was saying, we invite you to come in and check out everything we have to
Yes.
offer. We'll give you a nickel tour, and you can see our facilities and meet our staff and some of our members.
So while we're still on technology, Mike, let's talk a little bit more about our Community Connections TV show with our TV production class. That's a very unique feature that SCAN has to offer.
So yeah, that's something else I'm really proud that the team did this year, and kudos to Robin Camp, our TV production instructor, and her amazing students who really pushed themselves to create some great content this year. So the concept is that the members of the class come up with the ideas for the show, and then they go out and shoot the footage. Robin edits it, and then they do the voiceover work. So they're basically learning how to do an entire show, and they produced one episode a month this year. You can find them on our YouTube channel. It's called Community Connections, and they really did some great work this year.
Yeah, you're not going to find a lot of places out there in Monmouth and Ocean County that have a TV production class. And if that's something that interests you, the magic behind the cameras, I think that's a most unique opportunity. Yeah.
And, it's in line with all the other things that we offer at SCAN, where, we say we like to help keep seniors happy, active and connected.
Yep.
In mind, body, and spirit. And so the classes intentionally speak to those things. I mean, we have line dancing, and now we're going to bring in two-step dancing in the winter session. We also return of fencing at our friends at Atlantic Fencing Academy, and a mixology class at Long Branch Distillery. So really something for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, don't forget that we have our lunch and learns in Monmouth and Ocean County. And, I have to say that they have really turned into a spectacular event.
Really well
there was
attended.
a time when it was hard to get people to come. Now we have to cap it because we have that many people who want to come to these events. And that really speaks to how hard we've worked to produce these excellent events. So watch for them for 2023.
What I really noticed at the last one, Andrea, was the enthusiasm of all the attendees. They were so excited to be there. And then the content by Braven Health was by Marlo that she delivered was wonderful. And we're just really grateful to all of our sponsors that support us at those events too. So we appreciate their support and look forward to doing 4 more of those events in 2023.
Yeah, we always have excellent speakers. Of course, it's lunch and learn, but I think we made it a more unique event in that it almost becomes like a mini expo because we'll have other vendors there as well. So there's a lot of opportunity to meet people in a setting such as doctors or lawyers, people that you wouldn't normally just go up to and say, hey, hi, this is my situation. But at a lunch and learn, it's an opportunity, a very low key opportunity to meet and speak one-on-one with a lot of different types of people that you might
professionals.
Right. You might have to make an appointment, let's say, to meet with some of these folks. But if you haven't been to one of our lunch and learns, I really encourage you to do them. In Ocean County, we have them at St. Andrew United Methodist Church. And in Monmouth, of course, they're right at Monmouth Mall in Eatontown. So watch for the full schedule coming your way.
A perfect example of that are our friends at Respond Law and that team. And they were there just answering questions about all issues, legal in nature that impact seniors. And they were just there and available and provided folks with, as you say, some vital free information. So
You don't
You're always going to learn something at one of those lunch and learn events.
It's true. And, you don't always get up to have the opportunity to walk up to a lawyer and just start, here's my situation. No, that doesn't happen in the real world. But at a lunch and learn, it can happen. So, yeah, it's happening. Another thing to be really proud of in 2022 is we had over 600 hours of a classroom instruction at both in person and virtually. And I just think, honestly,
wonderful.
I think that was awesome. Mary Beth Kwapniewski, she's our programming director. Again, we need an applause button. We really do. She's awesome.
Put that in the budget for next year.
Okay, yeah. She puts all of that together, and and you all respond by showing up and telling us how much you enjoy the classes. So, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you all out there.
That's right. 100%. We're very grateful for your support of SCAN, and you are a big part of the SCAN family. And also a shout out to all of our teachers and instructors who show up no matter what the weather is. If we're open, they make themselves available and make sure that they have their classes for the seniors. So it's really, everyone pulls together. And I think the other thing that we should mention is the great work done by Helen, Malia, Laura in the Benefit Enrollment Center this year. They screened 583 seniors to determine their eligibility for these various benefits, and they submitted 1,200 applications on their behalf, which was over $1 million in benefits. So that's something that we're all really proud of. It's good news and bad news at the same time, because there's that kind of need in the community. So our goal for next year is to see, even more folks and help them get connected to benefits they didn't even know they were eligible for.
Yeah, they returned over $1 million in benefits to seniors in the county, and to me, Mike, that's extraordinary.
Staggering. Yeah, it's a great number, and it's just a testament to how hard they work.
So just a little preview in always the first show of the year, the first FYI of the year in January. Once we return, will always be Helen and Malia from the BEC, so we can really give you an in-depth understanding of exactly how that program works.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that will be forthcoming in January. That's always the first show of the year. Yeah. And
a couple of other things I want to mention, Andrea, is our first ever raffle. I think it's our first ever, is happening starting in January. So it's going to be $5 a chance. Right. It's a 50-50. And then we're going to sell them all through the winter and early spring, culminating at our Senior Expo, which I believe is May 12th or the 13th.
Yep,
in May. And the good news about the Expo this year is that it will be all together right in front of Macy's. So we'll have the Expo first.
I'm applauding that.
Then the fashion show. Perhaps you and I will do the podcast live from there. We'll see if that shakes out, but we'll also draw the winning ticket on stage at the Expo. So the mall gave us permission to do that. So that's going to be really exciting. Stop down and buy your ticket, and be sure to be there in May for really is one of our best events of the year.
Yeah, the Senior Expo is one of our best events of the year for sure. I feel like we are very event driven at SCAN, and again, thank you all for coming to our events, for coming to our classes, for listening to our podcast, listening to FYI. I mean, it wouldn't be much fun to do this if no one was paying attention to us. So we are very grateful, and I guess this is the time of year to express all of that wonderful gratitude. But thank you all. Thank you all. And you know what else? This year, we also in 2022 had a very successful golf outing.
Yes,
our first ever. So Mike, just
really
talk
exciting.
About that a little.
Yeah, it was under 100 degrees. So from that point of view, just barely, but it was. But we had 84 golfers who had the time of their lives. And we did it at the fantastic Eagle Oaks Golf and Country Club in Farmingdale. It's the only Jack Nicklaus designed course in New Jersey. So it's a really great opportunity if you're passionate about golf or even just a casual fan to play a course that you ordinarily might not be able to get out on. Right. We also had a Tito's tent, which everyone enjoyed, and the cigar roller. So we're looking to bring back even more of those kind of trucks for next year. and plus all the contests we had, the $1 million shootout, the putting contest. So we're excited. That'll be July 17th, again at Eagle Oaks. So mark your calendars for that, folks.
Yep, more details coming your way probably every week.
Yes, every week starting in January.
Starting in January. Yep, yep. Well, again, thank you all for being so loyal to SCAN. And Mike, I think we had a good year.
We had a great year. Very grateful for all of you guys. You are such a joy to work with. Really makes my job easy, and it's a pleasure coming to the office every day. I mean that sincerely. And also, I want to just shout out to our amazing and supportive board of directors who are passionate about seniors and passionate about supporting us, and they do that in their thoughts and actions. And also just another thank you to our sponsors who've supported us throughout the year. You know, without you, we cannot serve the senior community, either through our benefit enrollment center or through the programs and classes that we offer. It's thanks to you. So we're really grateful for that support and looking forward to continue that in 2023.
All right. Well, remember out there, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on SCAN FYI, and that will be in January. And happy holidays, everyone. Happy New Year. And
Happy
well,
New
Mike,
Year.
I'll see you in the office.
Happy holidays, all.
All right. Bye, everyone.